Passover. 4. What is 4 in Hebrew? Arba. Where do we see examples of 4 in the Passover Seder? Why is 4 an important number? Who can remind me what the word Seder means? Seder, from the verb lisader, means order, because every year we read the Haggadah in a specific order. Which brings me to number 5. What is the Sefer, or book, we read at Pesach or Passover Seder? The Haggadah. Examples of 4. 4 cups of wine or grape juice. Let's count them in Hebrew. Echad, shtayim, shalosh, arba. 4 sons or children. The Haggadah describes a wise, wicked, innocent, and one who does not know type of kid. However, I'm not sure that each description is as accurate, as people are ever evolving in their learning process. The wise child may be older, more experienced, and has more knowledge of the Seder, not necessarily smarter. The wicked child may still be new to the idea of a Seder. Where do they fit into the Kehillah, or community? This child requires more of an explanation, maybe some background, but not necessarily wicked, just not informed enough to understand. The innocent child. This may be a young child, has no idea yet, and asks, what does this all mean? This is the child who needs a straight approach to the lessons of Pesach. And the one who does not know is where the learning begins, and we start with, this is what God did for me when I went free from Egypt. The 4 children are how we learn and evolve in life. Examples of 4. 4 questions, she'elot. 4 foods, matzah, lamb, bitter herbs, and choroset. 4 names, Chag HaPesach, Chag HaMatzot, Chag HaChirut, Chag HaAviv. So Chag is holiday. When we put the Ha in front of a word, it means the. So Chag HaPesach, the holiday of Pesach. Chag HaMatzot is the holiday of Matzah. Chag HaChirut, the holiday of liberation or freedom. And Chag HaAviv, the holiday of spring, because Pesach starts in the month of Nisan, which begins spring in Israel. 4 cups of wine. Why do you think we drink 4 cups or arba kosot of wine or grape juice? Well, of course, there is not just one answer. Let's look at a few explanations as to why 4 cups of wine and when do they appear. First of all, we drink the first cup at Kiddush, much like Shabbat. The second cup is during Magid, the telling of the story. The third cup is during and when we say grace after meals. And the 4th cup is during Hallel, praise. However, there is a 5th cup of wine for Elijah. We do not drink this. We set it out and open the door in case the prophet Elijah joins our Seder, and then he can decide if he wants to drink the wine. Miriam's cup, a newer tradition. Not everyone puts one out, but Miriam's cup is traditionally filled with water, not wine. Why? This story says that Miriam, a prophetess herself, while in the desert for 40 years, her well of water followed the Jews. They were never thirsty. First and foremost, wine represents freedom. Pesach is all about the freedom. Wine in biblical days was considered a royal drink, and today we drink it during Pesach to symbolize our freedom. During the Seder, we ask 4 questions, have 4 foods, 4 sons or children, 4 cups of wine. Of course, there are other interpretations for the 4. In the Egypt saga, Joseph is the beginning, Moses is the conclusion. Joseph, however, after all the problems with his brothers, was put in Pharaoh's jail. Joseph, who was a bit full of himself, found compassion for others, empathy. This is something that we have discussed a lot. He began asking others what was bothering them. While interpreting the baker's dream, he mentions the word kos, cup, 4 times. It was when he interprets the Pharaoh's dream, he is set free, and the whole story begins. 4. God also makes us 4 promises. I shall take you out of Egypt. I shall rescue you from slavery. I shall redeem you, make you a nation. I shall bring you to the promised land. There were in Egypt 4 decrees by Pharaoh passed on to the Hebrew slaves. 1. Slavery. 2. All newborn males born to slaves would be killed. All male children of slaves would be drowned in the river. And Pharaoh decided that all the Hebrew slaves had to find their own straw to make bricks. The 4 exiles the Israelites went through: the Egyptian, the Babylonian, the Greek, and waiting for the Messiah. And lastly, let's look at what we have when we have 4s. In Hebrew, when we learned about time, we learned that reva was a quarter, right? And a quarter is great. But if we had 4 or arba revaim, which is 4 quarters, we have what? We have a whole. And that is shalem. Shalem is the word for whole in Hebrew. And as a unit, as a people, we look to be shalem or whole. And we also seek to find shalom, which is peace. So in conclusion, Passover is considered the birth of the Jewish nation. We learn that we are more than just individuals. We are part of a people, a nation, and a kihila, community. Even when and if we are strangers in a strange land, we have a community and a people to lean on and find support, as we should do for others whenever possible. Remember that regardless of geography, and even in this difficult time, Jewish people all over the world, Ashkenazi, Sephardi, Mizrahi, will be celebrating the freedom and the story of Pesach at the same time. Lastly, I would like to leave you with the last thought of 4. In the song Echad Mi Yodea, who knows 1, which we sing at the end of the Seder, who knows 4? It's Arba Imaot for our 4 mothers, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, and Rachel.